All right. Welcome one, welcome all to the Jerkmonger Show. I am your host, the Jerkmonger, walking and talking this morning on Saturday. It's a very easy day. It's quite lovely, actually. We had a lot of rain yesterday, almost all night. It was thunderstorms. Supposedly there were tornadoes, but it's gorgeous out today. It's very clean air, low humidity. Well, I wouldn't say it was low humidity, but it's not hot humidity, that's for sure. Um, just taking the break, man. Just taking the break to walk, get in my cardio. Did my stretches this morning. Um, that's I think I accomplished something there just doing that. Good morning, Kathy. How's your leg today? Today's my leg's feeling good. So I'm trying not to walk on streets that have too many of those incline edges. That's why I think it hurt my leg. Terry, how are you? Good morning. Doing good, man. Doing good. So hustling. Glad to hear it. Thank you, Kathy. So last night's auctions happened. I didn't think they would happen anymore for a while. Um, Papa Kinesu, how are you? I inspire you to walk? What? Walking people. You know, if we all shared this with other people, and not this, but share our walking experiences, that'd be good. Imagine how the good work we could do. Oh, so Terry's jogging. You can't be jogging, dog, if you typing. I ain't know nobody who could jog and type. Yeah. Justin, how are you? Hero. Yeah, so the auctions happened. What is it? I'm trying to block the wind from the mic. Is it still loud? Good morning, Rotwell. How you doing? How are you? Stop the type, not jogging. Good. Yeah, I'm starting to feel it now in my quads. That's crazy. I'm feeling a little extra tension on my quads. Feel the burn, baby, feel the burn. We're getting the burn, we're getting the wind. Yeah, well, we had the rain last night. It was nasty. It was nasty all night too. Powerful winds, and rain. I almost felt like a storm. Anyway, so the auctions went off last night. It was pretty cool. Glad that we did it. Unfortunately, I didn't have any new art to post just to auction. I did a little caricature of Mike, drawn. Mike S. Miller over on Black Woods Universe. Drawings for those of you who may not know what I'm talking about. It's a bit bad. My dogs did not like it. The dogs don't like the wind. I'm sorry. Villa Art, what's up, Weekend Monger? I'm trying to make this a daily thing. If nothing else, if I don't have any other content, we're at least documenting the burn. Yeah, I'm trying to block it, guys. I'm sorry. If it's too much, we'll cut it off. Good morning, Hiroshi Paradox. All right. Yeah, it looks like it's about to storm again. That's the kind of wind it is. It's a bit cloudy, but not that cloudy here as of yet. All right. Good morning, Eric. Hey, Eric. Uh, Let me know. I'm willing to do one of those. Probably shouldn't have said that, but I'm willing to do it. I'm just trying to stay off the internet for a bit, try to focus on my work. But I owe you guys a drawn and quartered fan edition. It'll be fun. Your pigeon piece was great. Unfortunately, I had dozed off and didn't see it. Scrolled direct back through. Oh, fun. Good. Yeah, that was fun. Try something a little lighthearted, I think you guys like that kind of stuff. I think so. Um, Sometimes you can tell, I don't know exactly. Good morning, Kari. How you doing? Rodwell, you brought a lot of fun to the auction last night. You had me laughing so loud. Did I? I don't know. I felt like I was just being myself. Sweet man, sent you an email. Very cool, very cool. Um, but as far as auctions are concerned, some people have made the argument that the auctions are too frequent, or that sort of thing. The way I see it, they may be, more frequent than people would like, but I think in general, though, when you really just put it all down, I think it's kind of it's really subjective. I think because you know, for some of you, it might be too frequent, but someone out there wants to buy the piece of art. Now, the problem may be that the artists involved are putting out artwork that they'd rather not part with at those prices. And I think that might be something to reconsider for some of the artists, pushing pieces in there that are very big and bold. But there's two strategies to anything, right? At least as far as I can tell, in any kind of business market. New blood in the auctions, yeah, new blood, but it wasn't a lot of big purchase like they used to be. I think that there's the frequency may be tied into the budget of most people. You can only buy so much so many times. But anyway, my point is that either you do big pieces at high dollars prices, or yeah, the cover for 300 was quite cheap. Or you do smaller pieces and make up the money in volume. And I find that that's more of my strategy. I try to do smaller pieces and drive volume, because I'm understanding that the budget of the customer may not be as deep as we would all like. So if you bring a $300 item, I'm almost, this might be weird, it's almost like there probably should be or could be I don't know, maybe those are more like auction primers. And then there's a big auction for the big items at a certain time of the month. But anyway, and we should probably move those auctions a little faster. I know we've talked about that before. Sometimes we're hoping for more money for items that are too big, and I've actually considered doing auctions somewhere else, like on Facebook or something like that, just so we're not overriding each other. But maybe having people come in. So I want to try to bring more people from other wind. Is that better? I'm blocking it with my battery pack. Trying to find ways to maybe have a bigger, more significant auction later. Kathy says that's an interesting idea, and advertise the bigger auctions so people know and save up. Yeah, I mean that way if you're spending money, you're not killing yourself that week. But it's hard because you got to convince some of these artists to be like, hey, don't release that. Some of them are so, how should I say, they think so little of their work that they'll put a great piece on for too little, for a very cheap price, and that actually hurts the market. If you look at my opinion, 5 minutes per item might move things faster. I agree with that Magic Carpet Ride. That's something I'm going to discuss with Mike, perhaps, see what he thinks about it. Again, if you can't treat every auction like it's the last auction of the world, I think it's scratching my nose. Hey, Tempo 75. But those are just some thoughts. I don't know. Again, this is Mike's show. I don't want to interrupt what he has. You know, I'm very grateful to Mike for letting us hang out and do the auctions there anyway. The auctions are better for hanging out. Yeah, they are better for hanging out. They're good for hanging out. But sometimes the artists are like, oh man, I put that heavy work into that particular piece, and um, you know, then they're disappointed when it doesn't do very well. I think it's because the atmosphere, you know, I wouldn't say it was I don't know why people say that. We get a decent audience. It's not a gigantic audience. We get a decent audience every week. To your point, most of it's hanging out, jalapeno. It's mostly just hanging out. Unfortunately, there's a lot of hanging out between the auctions and D&Q. I also understand that for some people, these auctions are important because they can make some money that they need. Some of the artists are in more need than others, you know. So I know I can be. So I think it's a good thing. Question is, how can we make it better? Now, it's like anything else. You can always plan to go. How do you do this? I can't always expect a windfall for any particular piece. So I don't bring big pieces. What I'm going to do is maybe what I'll do is if I have a big piece, I'll save it for a bigger auction night or something I can advertise ahead of time and say, hey, these are some of the pieces that I'll be auctioning on this day, but for smaller pieces or things that, you know, fit in people's budgets. I'm getting that shin splint thing again. It's also on this road, this particular stretch of road that has a steeper incline. It's the rain and stuff. So I gotta stay in the middle of the road. Anyway, how much has the controversies affected it? I don't know, man. You know what? To be honest, Mike's audience has been Mike's audience. I don't know that. I see some of the same people, you know. And for a long time, I wasn't seeing certain people, right? So I don't know that that's the thing people think it's supposed to be. Hiroshi says, I've seen artists do auctions on Instagram and their comments, not sure how. I used to do those myself. Instagram is not a good, in my humble opinion, because maybe someone's doing it really well or doing really well when you don't really have the audience. Not to mention, you know, I used to do that, and I would make, I don't know, maybe I'd tell a piece $20 or something like that, and you have to honor it, right? Because you put it on for auction. So I don't like it. Instagram is a different thing. One of the things that I've learned over the last few years, well, more than that now, is how unique each platform really is, and what the customers, who the customers are possibly, and what they're probably expecting. And on Instagram, I think your average user is younger, maybe doesn't have as much disposable income platform. And I got a funny feeling that what you're getting is a bunch of kids who don't have jobs who enjoy the art for free. So as the old saying goes, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Okay. YouTube is a good platform because you have a good cross-section of people who are young users, and users that have disposable income. Facebook, I don't know. Facebook is it's almost like running an auction. Almost like running auctions through an email, I guess, but because Facebook is so grandpa. That's one of the reasons why I'm planning on doing my a newsletter, because I think I'm going to be selling my art outright to you guys, and you guys can always purchase it there and see what happens. Auctioneers speak really fast and do it purposefully. The host needs to be energetic. Yeah, well, I'm not that energetic. I was trying to be funny last night, but I'm not energetic. I get tired. You'd be surprised how demanding of your attention that is. Anything is demanding your attention, I guess. But that in particular. Walkmonger on the streets. That's right, Haggis. Mike D'Souza says, what about having a floor price for a piece? No lower than some amount. And if it doesn't go, it doesn't go. Well, that's what we do. We have some people put up reserve prices. And I do that. If I put a piece up that I think I need to make, because the rest of it is, like I said, value is determined by the market. And timing is a part of that. If you are putting on a piece of art that's would normally sell for $1,000, for example, just using that as a random number, and your audience, especially if you've gotten around 4 or 5 rounds, and all of a sudden your audience is some people that would spend money have spent their money, which is always a reason why I'm not very keen on giant pieces selling, because that expends the limited resources of the auction public anyway. So but a few bucks here, a few bucks there, no big deal. We can keep it moving and keep it faster. But yeah, I do agree. I definitely believe that everyone should have some sort of base price. But sometimes people start off with like, oh, I'm going to start off at like $10. Then they get upset because it only sells for 50. And all they made was 50. Well, especially if it's like an important piece to them, well, then don't sell it. Give it a higher price. But most people they're desperate for the cash. So the value of it may be high, but if you don't have buyers for it at that specific location, so that's why we need to find some new big pocket buyers or more people to watch it to get more potential customers in. So that's the only way you can grow. You either grow the customer base, which is one way, or you start switching around your product assortment. That's like basic marketing and merchandising. And I think we've merchandised ourselves into a corner there if you're going with the bigger ticket items. But, again, it's not my show, but that's something I want to talk about. That might be helpful. Tommy Sarkinen says, how you doing, Tommy? It will be better after the seasonal stupid drama has dwindled. In a month or two, it will be funnier again. Maybe. Like I said, I really don't. The crowd's still the crowd. We just need to grow the crowd. If the crowd that was there was primarily a CG crowd who doesn't like Mike, all the more reason to expand it out further. You should never put all your eggs in one basket. Never. And that's a mistake a lot of us have made, but some of us feel like that's important. I don't know. I'm big on a global outlook on this. So, Bromonger, thank you, Jalapeno Milk. Terry Onan says Facebook auction is a little weird to me. Maybe, Terry, if you don't have any money. This is another spot. It's better than Instagram. Ben Caldwell sells his sketches on Twitter Insta. Says a flat price and the first taker gets it. Yeah, that's a way to do it too. But I guess the point of it is that people are hoping that this will be like it'll go higher than what they might put a flat price for. But I'm discovering more and more that the base price is normally what things go for. So you're probably making a good point there, Hiroshi. Jalapeno says it's nice seeing the pieces on Twitter beforehand. Yeah, well, there you go. I think that's too late, though. I think it's too late. If you're trying to broaden your audience and show this to more people, then you should show it sooner than that. I think at least a week in advance is a good idea. Kathy says, wisdom, Elliot. Oh, thanks, Kathy. And Taz says, CG should have expanded harder onto Reddit. Reddit is a good spot. Again, some people don't understand like the nature of the internet, though. Most people online don't want to spend money. I was listening to some people discuss digital comics again. My little leaves falling on my arm, which is like a roach. I hate that. A lot of people have weird remarks about digital. Again, if you're trying to treat digital It's a strategy you have to employ for digital that people, I think, are just not willing to employ, and that's all right. I will be employing them. I already know that. Preview of the pieces beforehand would be nice. I like hearing about your ideas about business. Thanks, Roshi. I mean, I'm sure they're not perfect ideas, but I've just had enough experience to get me in trouble. It would be nice to have a CG Reddit. I feel like the only time I talk to everyone is on stream. I guess so. I'm not interested in the CG Reddit. I don't want to be part of anything exclusive all the time. I mean, look, I'm already a man, light-skinned white man. I'm Puerto Rican, New Yorican. I got all these labels, man. But imagine if I only sold to men who are Puerto Rican and light-skinned. That doesn't make any sense. It's too small. It's too niche. I'd rather pick an audience that's larger. I would lose all my favorite female customers, and my female watchers, Kathy and Cosmetti and people like that, you know? So I don't think that's important. Well, it's up to you guys, really. I prefer to just keep my eyes open for bigger things all the time. Circuit says, every time I'm heavy on the promo, was banned by a few subreddits by only having CG promo, so the only Reddit that I can use is Indie by Edwin and the general KS Reddit. KS. Justin Ward, I don't foresee CG dissolving too soon. The zombie-like fan base is pretty strong. Someone like Elliot should remain free of that junk float amongst all creators free. Yeah, I don't think that anytime anything only is weird. I'm never going to do anything only. That seems weird to me. Yeah, but some people feel good about that. The face faces help the auctions. You'd think so, but it didn't really help the auction. There wasn't a lot of money flowing, except for a good big piece. And I still contend that Mike's piece, while it sold for very well, didn't sell well enough. That was a bigger piece. Knowing his prices and how much his stuff has gone for, that was also a steal. That really is, at the end of the day, helpful to the artists, but it's helpful to the buyers because you guys are getting really good deals on stuff. Unfortunately, it's turning in like an eBay situation. Hope everything going great, Jerk Monger. I'm normally asleep when you stream. Oh, thanks, Unicorn Camps. Justin Ward says, yeah, they're bleeding fans pretty fast. But okay, Plasmatic. I'm not interested in even talking negatively about anybody either, but guys, it's the observations are interesting, but I think for most everything we're talking about, it really boils down to simple math. It's the more people you have, more opportunities you have. The fewer people you have, and CG in general has counted themselves very exclusive for a while now. So it's a small group, unless it gets much larger. Now, here's the interesting thing. How much money does the comic book industry make? How many buyers are actually buying? That adds contributes to that amount. And what percentage of that buying public is any one specific group? I think that's always going to be an issue. Good morning, Lightning Fan. I'm with you, says Plastic. Jason Brubaker is the model. Make your audience the only gate you service. Yeah, there you go. Indie Comics is alive. I post there almost daily. Yeah, that's another thing. If people are waiting for giant pieces for the end of the night, that will also cause the auctions to stall. So that's what I mean. I guess either you have a big auction night, like big items for the one auction, one primary auction, but keep your other items for any other auction smaller. But that's just an idea in my head. I'm not sure if it works. Yeah, if you guys aren't getting the work's worth, customers are going to get used to those deals driving down prices. Right. So the only thing to do is it's the reason why, hey man, I want things cheap. But I remember in the old days when things used to be made like with quality. Well, you can't get both, right? You can't get both. You can't get a quality item for a bargain basement price. So if the audience doesn't have enough money to buy higher ticket items, then you don't have enough money to be buying those items. So the better thing to do is to provide items that fit your budget but fit my workload. That's the right relationship between the customer and the producer. It'd be nice to have a pinnacle piece for the night. So that's the problem. I think if you're saying pinnacle piece as that big item at the end, that's what I think is. It can be a problem because then everyone's waiting and holding out for that piece. Hey, you want to talk steel? I got first illustration of Young Glory ever for $100. Whoa! There you go. You get cheap quality if you want both. Yes, cheap quality. It didn't start off so exclusive. Ethan got a big head from an early simple. Ethan's going after the audience that's there. He's only going after the audience. What's they say? It's the customers. If you guys weren't buying, he wouldn't be selling. I mean, you guys. I mean, the buying public, not you guys in particular or anyone in particular. But that is the problem, right? So you guys, the audience, the customers, continue to purchase, and he continues to provide. He sees the demand, and he's supplying the product for that demand. There's nothing wrong with that. The question then remains, why are you guys still buying it if you feel that strongly about it? And if I were him, I'd feel empowered too, because everyone seems to be excited about the product. Nothing wrong with that. It's supply and demand, free market. I'm all for that, man. I got no problems with the free market. The consistent streaming everyone is doing all day, every day is hurting everyone's. That, Everett Todd, that is a true statement. That's what I'm trying to reduce here. If you guys really want to see my stuff, you'll come. Like right now, I have 42 people watching. That's the other day when I had some other stuff going on. I had a lot of people in here. But to us, a shot in the arm, but it wasn't the true estimate or true measure of my normal viewers. 42 is starting to grow, hopefully get into the 50s, and then consistently into the 60s. That's what I'm hoping to do, is keep it growing organically, slow and steady. Everybody wants that super rush of business. It's possible, but anytime business is fast, I mean, gosh, it's so funny how everyone's a big fan of Star Wars. And the big lesson of Star Wars is that the dark side is fast and powerful, but it gasses out. The good side always wins in the end, even if it loses some battles. It's like, why do we keep wanting things to go fast? That's the dark side method. So being online all day, I think does hurt. I think I want to create, to some extent, this is ridiculous because it's like, oh my gosh, we need more jerkmonger. You want to weaken the supply so that the demand goes higher. And that drives prices up. That drives desire to watch up, right? When you guys know I'm only going to be on for 20 minutes every day, that's the only time I got. And that might be too much. Who knows? I like that we can back an artist, says Kathy. Artist book, and also have access to purchase an original piece. Also, love that your DNQ piece that I got. Right on. Well, and I appreciate that too, Kathy. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. We've got to meet in the middle somewhere. That's what I'm trying to say. Lightning Fan says, Jerkmonger, I think what you are trying to say is Ethan was giving the audience what they wanted. Yes. That is what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm walking. This is what happens when I walk and talk. There's my son. My son's skateboarding this morning. Hey, boy. That's my boy right there. That's Jerkmonger Jr. Captain Hilt says, Tommy Sarkin, I was bidding on that cover and would have bid more for it, but I was a bit irritated Kevin Sharp took an IOU for the 300 bid. Well, yeah, but I suppose that's a problem. That's, yeah, maybe. But Jeremiah Jones is a good guy. He's a good guy, and he did, he's good for it. It's just, I don't know. I guess I could see maybe why you're a little salty about that, but I might. But why salty is not a good term. Why that might feel a little irritating. I'm cooling down. I've been cooling down for the last 5 7 minutes. Edwin should run a few polls on his Twitter. Dollars to Donuts FNA audience just doesn't have a lot of money. That's true. But I think that's the truth about most things. Most people don't have a lot of money. And guys, this is something I've been saying for a long time, which is what drives my ideas about business, at least in the comic book industry anyway. Comic books have, what's not very common in comic books? Every judge, lawyer, doctor, surgeon, brain surgeons don't buy much comics, by and large. It's a blue collar group. It's a bunch of us that have small businesses, people who work for daily jobs. It's one of the reasons why comic books, I think, are struggling, because despite what they think, I think prices have something to do with it. I think $3.99, $4.99, $5.99, $10.99, those are expensive dollar items, believe it or not. It may not seem like it, but there's a reason why Walmart exists and people looking for a deal. eBay exists for a reason. So Amazon exists for a reason. But everybody's like, no way, man, everything needs to be couture. And I'm like, no, man, I think you're missing something here. The vast majority of people don't make that much money. I think that's in every case. So what you need is a larger audience, right? That has a larger sampling, a larger net, where you bring in more of those, potentially more of those type of customers with a higher budget. And so all of that might be contributing to this. So that's why I'm saying maybe some of these weekly things can be a little more fun oriented and save the more serious stuff for bigger auctions. I think though some people are like, well, I think I sold this for this much, so they might come back and buy. I noticed that the frequency of the bigger purchases are dropping for some of the newer guys too. So it's like, we still talking about Ethan. I think Ethan needs to go for a few walks. I have nothing against Ethan. He's running his business, and I'm running mine. It was a 2-day IOU though, and it wasn't coming from a nobody. I get where you're coming from though. This is awful, redneck. Then Lightning Fan says, jalapeno milk. I think you mean polls. I don't think Edwin wants to run a few polls. Slow and steady, like walking and talking. Yeah. Now I'm just strolling here. Hi, son. Morning, Cosmetti. Junior Monger. Good morning, Mini Monger. That's funny. Let's see. A lot of my points, says Evertide, about the streaming is there is no order or discipline where folks go on the air. Folks overlap or stream snipe. So the problem is with that statement, Everett. It was Everett, yeah. And again, I'm not disqualifying what you said. I think that is a valid observation. However, there's no real solution for it. The bigger the group gets, the more people stream, because everyone's trying to use YouTube as the solution. The problem is you only get 24 hours in a day, maybe 12 primetime hours. I think you got, like here on the East Coast, 7 to 9 ish. Like when Mike is doing his show, it's prime time for him, but it's late as hell for me. So I'm over here in Tampa trying to stay awake, and then he's like, "Come on, Elliot." I'm like, "Guys, I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I'm getting sleep these days." So that's going to be more and more impossible as things go on, if the only option is YouTube and Indiegogo. That's the internet is way too big. We've got to be smarter than that. That's good for now, and that's a fast buck, but that can't be your long-term strategy, because everything fizzles after a while. Everything goes out of style. Look how many social media apps disappeared over the last 10 years. Some disappeared like in a weekend. But I do acknowledge though, to a schedule is a good idea. And and then remember, another thing is, so as far as stream sniping, whatever, that when someone comes on and they have a larger audience, and they remember that comics, by and large, has also been a, I mean, they used to call the Marvel readers Marvel zombies for a reason, DC heads. And some people, it's very polarizing, it's very tribalistic. So some people are going to be like, hey man, such and such is on, I gotta watch it. Okay, well, so that's your audience. That's your audience. So it's going to be difficult to try to get out of that. As long as people still want to follow specific providers or specific content, they're going to do it, and it's going to necessarily overlap. There's no way. There's too many of us now to not overlap. Tommy Sarkinen says, for a positive note, do say a few words about the future of Atomo. Oh, well, let's say I can't work much on it because I'm in the middle of Doomkicker. I did bring in the last file I did digital into my iPad. So let's just say I'm playing around with the story elements again and ideas for it. Kevin Hilt, Strickmonger, I'm happy for Jeremiah. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's fun. Jalapeno says, more pieces faster. Maybe bundled deals like Ellis did on Gary's FNA. Sold like 8 pieces for 110 or something. But again, 8 pieces for 110. See what you just did there, Jalapeno? We just devalued Ellis's work. Ellis may not be everyone's favorite, but he's someone's favorite. And the signal that we're putting out is that this work is cheap. This is cheap art. And then everyone wants cheap this and cheap that, and it eventually, all of a sudden, the art that we provide and the work that it takes to put that art together, all of a sudden turns into, it's just it shouldn't cost that much, and you guys make too much money anyway. And then the next thing you know, people are deciding for me. That's always been a struggle artists have had in the market for a long time. How people have always devalued art because it's so easily accessible. Interesting argument against comics, to be honest. But, that's why I say keep it simple. Don't sell giant pieces, sell fun pieces. If you look at how many people own a Frank Frazetta painting, and then how many people are proud of their Frank Frazetta doodle. That's what I'm saying. You can't have a painting for $110. That's, again, I'm not familiar with Ellis. I know Ellis, he's doing the best he can. Lightning fans, Jerkmonger, you've got a great point. I think that that's why Alterna has taken off like gangbusters. Yes, Lightning fan, I do think that, and I think there's something happening. Look, the economy might be better, but it's not the health that we think. It's like almost like we're on a pacemaker. Like, yeah, it's healthy-ish, but it's true. We have a different economy. We've got a lot of gig jobs, people making money. The money I make, every dollar goes to a bill somewhere, every one. So I'm not creating luxury items these days, unless you're that kind of artist or that kind of creator or production guy. Like maybe I'm making fancy cars, but like right now the big deal are these autonomous vehicles. That's awesome, but those are really expensive. So guess what? Most people can't afford a Tesla, but more people probably can afford a Corolla type of thing. Sunmonger. All right, Justin Ward says, I don't necessarily agree. Being so public and online only hurts if you don't have a big audience, but there's a fine line between fatigue, oversaturation, and creating demand. Maybe. I don't think it's healthy either way. An art gallery with all the art like a week to 2 weeks in advance, so lots of people can get a chance to see it before auction might be cool. Yeah, the problem is most of us don't have the time to produce that kind of art that far in advance and without any windfall at the end. It's very delicate. It's very interesting though. It's interesting we were having a conversation. I think it's good. Eric Hawkins says, I'm an artist. I never have money. That's true. Lightning fans, Jalapeno Milk, that's what I was thinking. Traditional auctions work because you get an auctioneer that creates excitement and people bid as part of it. Eden runs a fair auction, but it's too low key. It is low key because he talks like this. It's very. He's got, look. Not everybody can do everything, but let's face it. Um, I have to really act really wacky to keep the energy up. Otherwise, I'm falling apart. So you need to find someone that's willing to do it, who's very interesting and fun and makes it energetic. And that particular group, because we all tend to be so conservative and such relaxed people, or not relaxed, but like low key people. And if I'm the most energetic guy in the room, then y'all in trouble. It was like an opposite of auctioneer. I love his voice, but not for auction. I think he probably understands that too. Magic Carpet Rice says, will you dress up on Halloween for your walk stream, Elliot? Maybe some devil horns? I actually had this really cool, I scared the tar out of my goddaughter last night. I bought this wolf mask. It's one of those ones where you open your mouth and the mouth opens and it snarls. Oh, it's so good. Got a really good deal on it a long time ago. I found it. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to get it for Halloween. So I tried to show her, and she's only like 4. She was screaming bloody murder. It was awesome. I feel so bad. How about no rules? No rules. I don't know what that means. Read. Rodwell says, Jerk Mongwell, Tomo, Bubba Squatch. Oh, you remember Bubba Squatch and the Hercules Spirit, etc. live in the same universe? Probably not. Probably not. Bubba Squatch was always intended to be kind of like a comic strip. Tomo was intended to be a comic strip at one point. I'm a big fan of comic strips. But I don't know that I think a comic strip would be better if I were working a day job and I was trying to do, but it would take a very specific amount of discipline to want to do it anyway. So I don't know, but I don't think so, because one's a superhero concept. I think Otomo could be in that universe, because he's a superhero. He's too deliberate. Needs someone fast. Alejandro Medina, how you doing? Alejandro, hola. Is this the Elliot Walkathon? Kind of is. I'm kind of wrapping it up right now. When you start the mailing list, how frequently are you planning to send it out? I'm thinking about maybe every couple weeks, Hiroshi. Unless I have something specific news related that I want to share. This is a way for me to reach my audience that would have been following me on social media. This is just that. Earlier auctions would be cool too. Again, Jalapeno, the earlier auctions are hard because when an auction is winding down, it's late in California, but it's not as it is here. Remember, Mike lives in San Diego, so it's 3 hours behind East Coast. That's as early as he can do it. The current auction model needs a lot of work. It's also difficult because we're auctioning, and which going back to that last statement, we're auctioning, between the East Coast and West Coast. There's people with different situations. Yeah, but you just restated the obvious. It does need work, but everything does. Maybe Mike should start auctions on an hour early and cap it at 2.5 hours. Keep the pace up. I think a limited time is better overall. Limited time of the auction, limited time per auction, per item, I think is a great idea. That would definitely that would make it urgent, but the artists would need to cooperate with pieces that they'd be willing to let go for lower prices. And that's the tricky part, because that is the other factor that we're not talking about, is the artist's need. And they're hoping they're not thinking about the overall health of the auction. They're thinking about their own health, and I totally get that. But that puts people in a position they want to make as much money as possible, even if they have to beat you in the auction. There's a competition there too, whether they all want to admit it or not. So my whole thing is like, there's a game. You guys ever play a game called Farkle? It's like, I think you take 6 dice and you try to get so many combinations of 1s and 5s, and for you to keep moving and rolling. And if you don't get something, you lose all the money or all the points. I used to play that with my family, and man, it would get really intense. This is years ago, and with friends and family. And I remember I got to the point, it was like the Matrix, and I remember seeing what I was seeing was that everyone was getting like super hyper and getting upset over a game that had no stakes. The winner didn't get anything. There was no prize. There was no money to win. You didn't rescue a small person from a death trap in an underdeveloped country. Nothing nothing mattered if you won the game. People would get like so mad. So once that happened, I felt myself getting frustrated. And I was like, my general attitude towards these things is, unless it means anything, I don't care. So I stopped caring about the. I would just roll, and sometimes I would roll crazy, and I get these crazy high numbers, and then most of the time I would lose all those points. And people would say, "Why are you doing that?" And I kept saying, "Guys, because at the end it's just a game." And I think some people, like, they don't understand that the part of the game that's the best is everyone getting together and talking, hanging out, being with each other, not so much winning. And I think what happens in general, whether it's an auction or drawn and quartered or anything like that, we've all become too competitive because it is just a game. Now, for some people, it's not a game. Some people need that money. So that item selling for this much amount of money is important to them. But it's usually done at the expense of the health of the activity, because if they had kept the prices smaller, we could go through those auction items faster because they're not going to go much higher than blank amount of money, whatever that amount is. And once you've accepted that, we give it a time limit. When it's done, and we move forward. Malin used to try to drive for that, but then every once in a while, even Malin would get fatigued, and he'd be like, ugh, and he would succumb to the pressure of keeping it longer. So again, when it's a big piece, nobody wants to see a large piece that's put, like we know is put a lot of energy, has a lot of energy put into it, a lot of effort put into it. We don't want to see that go for an undervalued price, but that really is the fault of the artist in the end for putting it out there. That's my commentary on that. I'm going to read your comments and I'll let you guys have the last word. That's a great point. Tribalistic mentalities of many. Okay, Captain Hitt says, the dream lives on. Atomo says, Tommy Sarkin. And Jeremiah says, morning, Elliot. Everett, would Patreon be a good solution for midterm transitions? I don't know what that means. Everett, can you explain that again? Lives Matter says, Artist Lives Matter says, Alejandro. Gary Reynolds says, hello again from Dubai. Elliot, out walking too. Very good. Alfonso Prodi says, Ellis is cool. Jeremiah Jones, I owe Kevin something after getting that cover last night. Jay Hamilton says, I hear you, brother. Alejandro says, wait, you have bills? Ha ha ha. Because Ben says, hit that thumbs up for Elliot. Yes, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys did hit the thumbs up. That'd be cool. See, I'm at 50 now. That's a good number. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it, but I've been on for a while. Mike D'Souza says, similar to the indie authors market offering free books to grow readers, then the readers expect free books in the future and never actually buy. Grr. That's true, Mike. But you know what's good? When people give out like samplers. That if it's good enough, I will bite if the sample's strong. Think about that. Haha, says Never Cold. Reed Troutman says, some people like drama and social media interaction, different strokes. Yep, that's true. Hello, Matthew Rice. I'm saying that might be true, but not all that's beneficial. There's not to get too spiritual, I know some of you hate it. There's a verse that Paul uses in the New Testament. He says something like, all things are, all things are are lawful or something like that, but not all things are profitable. In other words, just because you can doesn't mean you should. That's what I say. I love your sense of humor and impressions. Oh, thanks, Jay. Never Cold just keeps laughing at me. Mike D'Souza's laughing at me. Jerkmonger says, Lightning fan, where is your hat, young man? It's taps foot impatiently. It's cloudy today. Plus, I gotta, put it on and off. I don't know. People being prepared with their pieces would help speed things up. Another problem is that some people, again, you can tell people are getting a little nervous because they'll put out like 4 or 5 pieces. Which one will sell? There's got to be a cap. There's got to be a limitation. I do agree with that. There has to be some sort of limitation on time. I guess I didn't give you guys the last word. Some limitation on time for these auctions, I think. That would help a lot. I think when people realize that there's a time limit and once it's gone, it's like HSN. Why is there still an HSN? Because they put that stuff on a time limit, and once it's gone, it is gone. Mike needs to accept the fact that he lives in the fake time zone. He should accept the only real time zone is Eastern Standard Time. I don't disagree. Watch out. Eagle. Or Parakeet. Yes. Farkle. Okay, you guys heard me from a few minutes ago. Real auctions advertise products before to build hype and engagement. Yep. Matthew Rice. Everyone needs to accept this so I can sleep properly. Kathy says Central Time is where it's at. Central, hey. Jerkmonger is telling the absolute truth right now. Michael Presti, ha, ha, ha. A few of them do put their pieces up on Twitter beforehand. Kevin Sharp does for sure. Yeah, but if it's just that day, or even if it's like a few couple of days, that's not enough. And if your audience on there is not big, I would like to do it where you put it on a specific spot on the internet. And if you're, I can direct people to it via Instagram. And that's another thing. No one's using Instagram properly. I know I said a little while ago that most people are not buying, but again, there are a lot of people on Instagram. I have over 120,000 of them. I could post something, but you guys already know, this is not for you guys, I'm talking about the people that run these things online. We already know that you can't put a link on Instagram. So what happens? Everyone goes, forget Instagram. Well, there's a bunch of people on Instagram, but nobody's doing the harder work of posting something that makes sense. We need better images, better advertisements. Come on, guys, we're artists, for crying out loud. We can make it. We could do it. Evertaz says, Methra says, Mountain Time here. I would buy more art more often if reproduction prints were offered instead of original pieces. Save the original art for a single auction streaming at the top of the month. Yeah, but but I don't know, maybe. Crazy says need can become desperation. Yes, that's very true. Mark Anthony says all the hype for Central Standard. Never cold. Christ Energy says all the mind. It's all in the mind. If people cannot refine what's happening, it's going to continually stagnate. Yeah, but an auction has a fun. That's like saying, when I go to Walmart, I don't know why they don't change the parking lot around. They don't change the parking lot. I won't come back. It's a parking lot. It's just the auction is an auction. It has a simple function. The question is, do people like it? And it's about how we approach it. Again, having fun. You gotta have the pieces ready before the auction. Yeah, okay. Let's see, I'm trying to read everybody. Get her done, Captain. All right, thank you guys. I hope that I gave you guys some insights, some things to think about. I know you guys gave me some things to think about, and I hope that one way or the other, if you have an artist that you like, support them. Don't support them because of a group. I mean, if that's the reason why you like them, I guess. I would rather you like my work based on the merits of my work, so that way you guys will, when the movements come and go and the seasons change, I can stop if you guys ever agreeing with me. But in that regard, it's not always likely. So I appreciate all you guys. Show those leaves no quarter. Right on, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Anyway, again, thank you guys. I appreciate you all. I hope you guys have a great day. Have a great rest of the weekend. Probably won't be on tomorrow. Maybe I will. Probably won't. I will walk, but I should probably spend some of this time with Jesus. But I love you guys. I really do. You guys have been super supportive of me, and I'm very grateful for all of that. And you are, without you guys, we can't do it. So I'm trying to resolve some of the issues that some of us have so that we can have a more consistent and mutually beneficial relationship between the customer and the producer. I hope that can happen. I'm working on it. I'm always working on it. Andy and I are always working on it. I know all the guys are. I know there might be a lot of fighting and anger and frustration, but the truth is everyone is trying to figure out a better way. And the old way wasn't good for most of us. So I'm just saying, stick with us but do it for the reasons that make the most sense. Again, if you're following me because you thought I was part of a group or not part of a group, I wish that you wouldn't. I really just want you to be here because you believe in the work that I'm producing. And I hope that you will grant these other guys the same benefit of the doubt. I really hope that you guys enjoy the work, because some people are producing not such great work and they're getting a lot of affection because they're part of a group, and that money is like anything is going. Anytime that happens, I always go for quality. That's what I shoot for, and I don't know anyone in particular. I'm just saying that has happened in the past, and that's not fair to the rest of us who are working hard on giving you guys the best quality we can. I appreciate you guys. God bless you guys. See you.